everyone, and welcome to the Traveler's Guide of Media. I am Wayne, and my co-host is...
Jacob! Yes, I'm back. I'm sorry.
He ain't going nowhere, and if you don't like it, well...
That's okay. You don't have to listen anyway,
Yep.
so...
Kick rocks.
And yes, I'm aware. I yak a lot. It's gonna happen.
Oh, yes. And last time we had a basic general introduction of who we are, what we do, what we kind of like and are familiar with. And this one we're going to try to focus more on 90s anime and see how far that goes before we go completely off the rails. And this might lose a few people because I know there's some people...
There's some people that are not going to know hardly any of these. There's going to be people who only know these.
Mm-hmm.
This is essentially just going to be the ones that we grew up with.
Yes, these are the ones who got us into the anime world and basically brought our inner nerd / otaku, I guess you would say.
Yeah, we began our weeb stage.
Yes, our weeb journey that blossomed when we was in the single digits. Now we're...
Well, double digits, but like our tweens, teen tweens, whatever the fuck you want to call it.
Yeah, and now we're got one foot in the grave here and still going at it.
Way to make me feel fucking old.
Well, you're welcome.
Yeah, not too long ago, talking about G Gundam and the whole reason why I really prefer that over, most other Gundams.
Oh, yeah.
And I'll be honest with you, it mostly revolved around the way the cockpit design was and how it's operated. While I can appreciate others like Gundam Seed or 00 Gundam or really any of them, G Gundam is going to be my favorite mainly because of the way that it's piloted. Not necessarily the functions of the Gundams or their capabilities and abilities, just mainly the way that they are piloted. And that was with the full body suit and being fully in control with your own, using basically your own body as a giant joystick.
Which is an amazing way to actually play that. One thing that would be really awesome that'd be using that platform would actually be incorporating in modern day, making a video game based on that, but using VR.
Well, we essentially have the technology to do that, but it's just a lot of hardware.
It is.
Compared to something like that, because you've got the... what is that fucking dish that sits on the floor that you're attached to?
That treadmill dish thing.
Yeah,
that I've been seeing. Yeah, that. Yeah, I call it the flying saucer, but
essentially, yeah, that we have the technology to do that. It's just like I said, it's a lot of hardware.
Yeah, and not your average person's gonna be able to do that.
No, because that thing, if I remember right, is of like $2-3 grand.
It's $3 grand
just for one of those.
Yeah, just for one dish,
and it only works for like PC shit.
Yeah, and you gotta have a dedicated room basically for this thing.
Yeah, you have to have its own. It has to have its own room because it takes up so much space. I think it's like 3-4 foot wide.
Yeah, it's about 4 foot in diameter.
I think the measurement for it was roughly around 3, like width wise, it was like 3 feet, almost 4 feet.
Yeah, let's not forget the height of this thing either.
Yeah, it's roughly around the same height as it is wide.
Yeah,
because you've got the harness that attaches to it. So we have the technology for it. It's just a little bulky and a little clunky right now.
Yeah.
It's definitely not going to match up to like the full fucking latex bodysuits of G Gundam.
Oh Lord, no! That's another 50 years at least, maybe 100.
Jesus Christ, dude! It would be lucky if we hit it then.
Yeah, if we're still alive when that comes through.
Well, I mean, I showed you not too long ago that Japan has its own fucking.
Oh
mechs.
yeah, they got their own little mechs. Sure, they're not all battle ready, but they do have their own mechs.
Yeah, they're a little slow, they're a little clunky, but they fucking exist. They're like the quadriplegic Jesus Christ, quadriplegic. I swear I didn't hit the choke on that lawnmower. But it's got the quad legs on it that it rolls around on.
Yeah, I kind of call that like the spider version of a mech in a way.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean...
Actually, if you look at one of the animes we're probably going to talk about, Ghost in the Shell, a lot of their mechs are like that.
Yeah, with Ghost in the Shell, they're autonomous. They have their own, like, AI.
Yeah, they do.
Whereas with the Gundams, it's very specifically piloted by an individual. One of the things that I saw a theory on with the Gundams which is probably, why they made the Zaku the way that they do, is the uncanny valley thing. Because the more human it looks, but isn't, the more that we get that sensation. Which is why with the Zakus, they only have the one eye.
Yeah.
With the visor, it doesn't really necessarily look human.
No, it don't.
But whenever you look at a Gundam, you get that uncanny, which is why a lot of them, like if you watch the original Gundam with the Zakus and the RX-78, a lot of them are scared of it.
Yeah.
I think it's due to like the uncanny valley thing, which is what I read on I can't remember. It was like a wiki, or not a wiki, it was a Reddit post of some sort. But it's like that. It kind of explains why they're so fearful of it, not just because of its firepower, but because of its appearance.
Yeah, definitely. It's very intimidating.
Which is why they made the Zakus look the way they do.
Yeah.
And even some of them don't even necessarily look fully human, because some of them have like quad legs,
yeah, they do. Or tracks.
Or tracks.
Yeah.
Like the less human it looks, the more the less human it looks, the more comfortable the pilot is.
Yeah.
Which is also why I think it took a very special individual to like
pilot an actual Gundam.
An actual Gundam.
Because it kind of almost like fuses with the individual itself in a way.
Well, that depends on the series.
Yeah, it does depend on the series, but
what was that
there's
one?
usually at least one in each series that has a special connection.
What was that one Gundam series? It's got a Gundam Barbados in it.
Barbados, that wasn't it 007?
I don't know. I don't have anything in front of me.
I cannot remember which one that one. I could have sworn that was 007 Barbados.
Anyway, which one, it does not matter. With that one, that does come into play, because the more in sync you become with the Gundams, because the Gundams in that universe they require very specific individuals to pilot them, and the more in sync you become with your Gundam, at least in the case of Barbados and their pilot, the more he lost control of his limbs. Like, he became essentially a paraplegic.
Yeah.
And he couldn't really walk. There were times where he could force himself to, but it took a lot.
Oh, yeah.
But eventually it got to the point where he could not walk anymore. And the more in sync you got with the Gundam, the more you would lose. But also, the better your fighting capability. Like, you could become unmatched on the battlefield in a Gundam.
Oh, yeah.
Especially with him in Barbados, because he got to the point where he like I said, he lost his ability to fucking walk.
Yeah.
And with that loss, he gained so much fighting capability in Barbados. He was already a monster in the fucking thing. But once he synced up with Barbados in that way, to that extent, he was a monster. Now, if I remember right, I'm sure there might be other Gundam series that touch on that, but that I remember, that seems to be the only one where the Gundam syncs up with the individual.
Yeah, wasn't there something in there somewhere where they had like a sickness that went along with like piloting these Gundam?
There might have been a series that touched on something like that. I could have
sworn that there was one somewhere in there. Is that
there might have been a psychosis. I think
that might be it.
I think it might have been a psychosis, not necessarily a sickness.
After they get so into it, the Gundam, they basically become one with the Gundam.
Yeah, I think it was more of a psychosis than it was an actual illness. Well, I mean, that's not saying that a psychosis isn't an illness, but a sickness of the mind more than the body.
Yeah, because I vaguely remember one time, just once, where you see like the pilot almost dying, and you see the tubes and everything launch out from inside the cockpit and engulf the pilot.
Are you sure you're not talking about Evangelon? That sounds like some shit.
I could have sworn I saw it one time in Gundam. I know I've seen it in Evangelon quite a bit, but
there's some crazy shit in Evangelon. I haven't even fully watched that shit. Yeah,
neither have I. I've touched on Evangelon. I've not really delved into
crazy.
Yeah.
Like, I've only watched clips for that for the most part, and some of it is just, it's out there.
Yeah,
and it's depressing as shit.
Yeah, I've watched a couple episodes, but I'm not because I feel like if I start diving into this anime, it's gonna suck me in. I'm not gonna be able to escape to it.
Yeah, no, that's kind of like my big problem with that, is I'm gonna get sucked into it, and I'm not gonna want to watch anything else. And I've got like 3 or 4 other fucking anime that I'm already watching.
Oh yeah, my backlog's a mile long, and I'm just
I don't even necessarily have a backlog. I'm technically all caught up with my shit. It's just I'm waiting for new stuff to come out, and if I start binge watching Evangelon or something like that, I'm not going to get around to watching the other stuff, and I am going to build up a backlog, and I don't like that.
And Evangelon's a heck of a series.
I don't even know how many seasons it has.
Heck, I don't know how many seasons that has. And I mean, I could look, but
it's concluded, isn't it?
I'm pretty sure. How many seasons? How do you spell?
Evangelon, Evangelion, whatever the hell you want to call it. Tomato. You can correct me all you want. I really don't care. It's the same thing to me.
I don't care about the... Screw you, AI. Okay. I ain't going on there. But it says it only has 26 episodes, but there's multiple seasonings.
What the fuck? Yeah, no, there's multiple seasons of Evangelon.
Neon Genesis Evangelion came out in 1995.
That's a new way of fucking saying it. I've heard Evangelion and Evangelon, but that was a new one.
Yeah, that's how I've heard it said. So that's really how I've... And there's a correct way to watch it. I'm not going through that.
I know.
No.
Nah, I don't want to watch, I don't want to get wrapped up in that anyway, because I know some of that shit gets pretty dark with Evangelion or Evangelon, whatever you want to call it.
Okay. And I'm just going to clarify this. Yes, we have the computer running here. No, we are not, engulfed in anime 24/7. That's not how we do things. It's a
casual thing.
It's our hobby.
It's a casual thing.
Yes.
We're not going to be correct about something. If you want to correct us, feel free to.
Go for it.
We're not going to argue against it.
We will learn through you, and you can learn some things through us.
Yeah, but don't be a dick about it.
No.
That's all I ask. Don't be a dick about it. I'm more than willing to say, yeah, I was wrong. I'm sorry. Yeah. I didn't know. I don't remember things very well necessarily.
Yeah, we're just two bros discussing our hobby.
Yeah, essentially.
That's it. And if you want anything else, go to another podcast. But if you want to just hear two bros talking, that's us.
Also, I wanted to touch, now that I'm thinking about it with the whole Gundam thing, the combat styles for each Gundam series, and I am going to move off of this. I'm going to get off of this fucking high horse dildo, whatever the fuck you want to call it. But this is just where we're starting. The combat for Gundam is amazing.
Yeah.
With G Gundam, like I said, my main thing for that was piloting. The combat for that is a little bit bland, whereas something like Gundam Wing or what's that one I just watched recently, or watched some of it. It's got Gundam Exia in it. Gundam Zero.
Okay.
Gundam Double Zero. Or Gundam Zero. One of the two. I don't remember.
Double Zero.
It's got Axia in it. The combat and the capabilities of the Gundams in there, you can tell a progression in the capabilities that they included in each of the Gundams, and their specialties, and just the effects of their weapons and their capabilities was fucking amazing. Especially with one of my favorite was with Gundam Wings specifically, and their capabilities and uses with what they and with the brutality of their double fucking cannons. that was pretty cool to watch whenever they did use them. And with Axia, the saber blades and the shield, using the shield as a surfboard type deal thing. The airboard. That I love the concept for that.
That is cool.
And it's not the first time I've seen shit like that in Gundam series. It's just I love the concept for those, and the idea for that. Just using weapons as what they might not necessarily be intended for, but what they can be used for.
Was just watching Black Butler before coming in here and watching
Sebastian use
forks and knives and plates
to fucking lobotomize all those bastards, those poor sons of bitches. Yeah, no.
And that's a 2000s anime, so
yeah, we're gonna bounce all over the fucking place.
That's gonna be in there. And some of these older animes, they do carry on into the 2000s. So
yeah, well, one in particular, if I remember right, I think. Well, that'll lead me on to another one of my favorites, which is Ronin Kenshin.
Very good season.
It is. My problem is whenever they tried to remake it with Samurai X, they fucked it up severely, and it lost some followers and fans.
Yeah.
because they didn't hold true to the manga or even the original anime series.
Yeah, I never actually got to watch Samurai X. I guess I'm probably glad I didn't.
You remember the whole meme with Dragon Ball and Avatar, The Last Airbender given cancer? Yeah. Same process.
Yeah.
It was
they butchered both of them.
Oh Jesus fucking Christ! Even the Bleach movie that they made it was, while it's not the same cancer giving quality, it was not good.
No,
by no means. They cut out so much to make it into a movie that if you didn't know the series, especially like me, if you hadn't watched the series for Bleach, you wouldn't know half of the shit that was going on.
No.
Like, especially with like why he lost his abilities, or how he even got his abilities, or why he even had his abilities. Like, they cut out so much to try to make a profit. They lose the story.
They do.
Like, I understand, like, they got to make a buck, but if they're going to do something like that, if they're going to do a live action, just make a series.
Exactly.
They did that
Cover the stuff.
They did that for Ronin Kenshin.
They did.
They did, and specifically in Japan, they did it for Ronin Kenshin. They did a live action, and it made big fucking bucks.
Yeah, it did.
Because they followed to the original story. It was just live action. I haven't watched it. I've seen little clips of it.
Yeah, I've seen like an episode to it. It's really good, but I've not like.
I don't even know if it's necessarily available in the United States.
It's not. You gotta VPN this thing.
The only reason I know about it is because where I am a fan, and I look for shit like that, and I saw like Japan live action Ronin Kenshin. I was like, why haven't we seen this yet? And that's, like, I came to the conclusion it must be, locked in Japan.
Yeah, a lot of this stuff, which it really sucks for the Western market, is basically we can't get a lot of this stuff because it's locked behind that stuff. In order for us to get this, we gotta VPN it.
That's true, but also at the same time, I kind of understand because, like, you don't want to give everything that you have out.
Yeah, this is true.
Keep some stuff for yourself. That's fine. I know for a fucking fact America does the same damn thing.
Oh, heck yeah, we do.
Especially like Funimation see, the thing is, most
topic.
yeah, we're not going to get into that.
No.
most anime comes out of Japan. Now, does America have some animes that we do make? Yes.
Yes, we do.
We do. We do have some, very few, but we more specialize in shit like, what's a good example?
Family Guy.
Oh,
King of the Hill.
Dear God, please no. I'm talking about like actual animation type deal thing.
Let's see. What do we have?
It's more like that Netflix series that I was watching. It's more like CGI kinda. Yeah. It's I can't remember. It's on Netflix. We're more, you know what? I'm gonna go off of Netflix. Like we're more like How to Train Your Dragon.
Yeah.
The Disney.
Yeah, Disney
shit.
And all that. That's what we.
That's what we're better at. Mm-hmm. But like we do have like a handful of animes that come out of the States.
Yeah.
But it's very few. Like
oh my gosh.
We
can't think of
exactly. We can't even come up with any. We know they're there. We just don't know what the fuck they are.
Good Lord.
But 99% of anime comes out of Japan.
It does.
It just sucks like whenever they come out with a live action for an anime and then they lock it. They region lock it. Mm-hmm. And it's like, why would you do that? Especially when you know you have really huge fans outside of your country that would pay big bucks to watch this.
A lot of us would.
Especially if it's executed right, like the Ronin Kenshin live series. Like, I would have paid like I would have paid like $30-$40 to buy that series on like Amazon or something and watch it. But it's like I said, it's region locked. Yeah. Or at least, as far as I know, it's not available to us, which would lead me to believe region lock. Mm-hmm. Oh my God. I have big feelings on this.
Oh, it's cool. It's cool. I fully get it. It's one of those reasons I kind of want to travel in a way.
Oh, there's some crazy shit that you'll see like in Japan, like anime related, that you will not see in the States. I guarantee it.
I am fully aware of this, and I'm for it. I want to see this stuff. Of course, I'll get into why I want to travel to Japan another day.
That's going to be in the future.
That's a lot to unpack. Oh my gosh. Let's see.
We already jumped off the fucking rails.
We have. I'm going to try to bring us back in. Let's start off with
Yu Yu Hakusho and tournaments.
Yu Yu Hakusho tournaments and all that.
Dragon Ball Z,
Z tournament.
The whole tournament trope.
The tournament trope that was real big in the 90s, early 2000s.
Very specifically, which is the one that I believe kind of started it. Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah, that
Dragon Ball to Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah.
Let's go with that. The original.
Yeah, Dragon Ball especially, because there was a lot of tournaments in Dragon Ball.
Yeah, that's where it originally started. Whenever he was just a wee little monkey baby.
Yeah, it's true.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's what he was. He was He was saying they were like monkey. They were giant monkey people.
The poor little monkey baby who got tricked in. Who got basically signed a freaking contract without even knowing and marrying his current wife.
Oh yeah, Chi-Chi. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. With Chi-Chi.
With the Ox King.
Yeah, I forgot about that. He did sign a contract to marry Chi-Chi, didn't he?
Did.
Oh shit, I forgot about that. Oh no.
And I'm sure someone out of there was like, hold on now, keyboard warrior.
I don't even think they needed the contract. Chi-Chi scared the shit out of him.
Yeah.
Still scares the shit out of him.
She is stronger than shit.
He's stronger than her, though.
I know,
but she still scares the hell out of him.
Yeah, she's Superwoman.
I mean, yeah. I mean, she beats the hell out of not just him.
No.
Gohan, Goten, all of them. Just beats the fuck out of them.
Yeah.
She don't give a fuck.
Oh my gosh.
Anyway, the whole tournament thing.
Yeah, the whole tournament thing. Oh my god. And
it started for me with the whole tournament trope was Yu Yu Hakusho, specifically in the dark tournament and the it wasn't necessarily a tournament in the sense that it was just the challenge to meet I said her name earlier. And it's already escaped me.
What was her dang name?
Genkai.
Genkai, yeah, that's it. Oh my
I think that was her name was Genkai. The old lady.
Yeah, Genkai.
Yeah, it was Genkai. The thing is though, I love her to death.
Oh my god,
because she was a smartass. Just like Yusuke was.
Yeah. The two play together really well.
Well, yeah, she was essentially just a wiser, older version. Well, I'm not even going to say a wiser, older version of Yusuke. She was just a wiser, older, smartass. Yeah. Really. And an asshole to boot.
She gave two fucks.
She didn't give two fucks whether he fucking lived through the thing. He was like, if you don't live, oh well, I'll find somebody else.
Exactly.
But I think my whole thing is, like, it started off with, like, their dynamic started off with, like, I don't give a shit about you, you don't give a shit about me, I'm just here to do this.
Yep.
But then, like, she followed him into the dark tournament.
Yeah, she essentially ended up being like a mother figure to him in a way.
Well, not
some ways.
Not really a mother figure so much as just an individual that came to care about it. Yeah. Like Hiei or Kurama. Kuwabara always, like, cared about him.
Yeah, cared about him in his own way.
It's like that rivalry, that bro rivalry thing. They hated each other, but not really. Yeah. They were friends. They eventually, like, became really good friends.
Yeah, they did.
But yeah, the whole dynamic with Genkai and Yusuke was, I just found it to my liking very much. Just because I like the way that they played off each other, just calling him a dumbass constantly.
Oh yeah.
And him just looking at him, you old hag, and just knock the fuck out of him just because.
Yeah, I'll admit that, like, Kuwabara, he annoyed the crap out of me. Like, the first...
There wasn't many people...
The first half of the first season, I was like, oh my god, I can't stand this guy.
He's annoying. He was annoying as shit.
He was.
Even in, like, the later series when he's going through the dark tournament, he's still kind of annoying.
He is, but he has mellowed down a little bit.
They mellow him out a little bit, but he's still kind of annoying. Personally, this is not going to be a controversial thing, but my favorite character was Kurama because I liked his backstory so much. Like, how he is actually he is a fox demon.
Oh yeah.
He's a fox demon, but he chose to be born to a human mother. because he was so wounded,
Oh,
he was so hurt, he had to retreat to and it was really his only option if he wanted to survive and be born to a human mother. The thing is, though, he had an absolute hatred for humankind.
Yeah.
And while that is tempered a great deal, once he becomes half human, it's still there. He still has like some hatred for humankind, but it, like I said, it's tempered down a little bit because he still has that love for his mother. And that was the whole reason that, you know, with the whole I think, what was the artifact that he was after? It was the mirror.
Yeah, that.
I don't remember what it's called, but it's like the Moonlight Mirror. It grants any user, anyone who uses it, their wish, but it comes at a cost.
Yes.
And only the one who uses it knows the cost of making the wish, and that cost is your life. He was prepared to sacrifice his life for his mother to recover from her sickness.
Yes.
Fully. This is coming from a fox demon who had an absolute hatred for humankind, but was willing to sacrifice their life for the person who took care of them.
And you know that can also play that trope right there can also play back into Inuyasha.
What, the whole I hate humans, but I'm willing to sacrifice my life for them?
Exactly.
Thing? Yeah. Well, that's the thing though. Where with Yu Yu Hakusho, there was just that one individual who's like, I hate humans to an extent, but they essentially have a love-hate relationship with humanity. That was Kurama, but with Inuyasha, that was kind of just across the board.
Yeah.
Most demons hated humans to some extent, or if they didn't hate them, they were fearful of them because of what they would do to them.
Exactly.
Like, if I remember right, Inuyasha himself, no, it was
Sesshomaru, his brother.
Sesshomaru fucking hated humans.
He did, but the only human he truly, there was two.
There's two.
His mother?
Yeah, because
he loved his mother.
His mother was human.
And Rin.
Rin, yeah, the one he actually ended up marrying her.
He did.
If I remember, yeah, because he ended up. Yeah, that's a whole nother fucking topic and discussion. He raised her and then fucking married her. That was a little fucking weird.
Yeah.
That's a whole nother topic. We're probably never going to get into that because holy fuck, it's everywhere in Japanese anime. But yeah, he ended up raising her and then marrying her when she got old enough. But he was one that had an absolute hatred for like 90%. He had a few where he, you know, his mother and Ren.
Mm-hmm. He also had a few he would deal with.
He could tolerate.
Yes.
Kagome was one that he didn't necessarily like her, but he tolerated her for Inuyasha. I mean, even in those instances, it wasn't necessarily like for him. It was just like he tolerated her. He dealt with her. Because, I mean, she was also a shrine maiden. She had the abilities, so he knew what she could do.
Okay, he knew that.
If she really put her power and mind to it, she could kill it.
Oh, yeah, and that's one thing I enjoyed about the Inuyasha series is just watching her powers grow and her learn about what she could actually do in the series.
Yeah, but the thing is, they should have focused more on that because it felt like it switched from Kagome being the main protagonist to be Inuyasha. It felt like it constantly was switching between the two.
It was a battle, and sometimes they would even throw something else in there out there.
Right. Because Kagome was supposed to be the main protagonist of the entire story. It was supposed to revolve around her, and for the most part, her and her relationship with the Shikon.
The Shikon Jewel and
all that. The Shikon Jewel. And how to obtain it and get the fragments and shit like that. But then it would go to Inuyasha and about his family problems and, you know, his half-demon abilities and what would happen on the Black Moon.
Yeah.
The what is it, the new moon?
Yeah, it's the new moon.
It was every new moon he would turn human.
Yes.
And then there was, like, certain times where he would go full-blown fucking demon.
Yeah.
But in those instances, he would go, like, on a rampage. Like his father was capable of doing. Like, that was one of the biggest things that his father was known for, was going on his rampages.
Yes.
But he was also the one who brought peace to the demons and humans. But with Inuyasha, it was just fucking rampage, kill, murder, slaughter. But the only thing that kept him
was Kagome.
Mm-hmm. like I said, it flip-flopped between the two.
It did.
I think they meant that, but they should have focused more on Kagome because that was what the story was supposed to revolve around, and her involvement in that time period, that world. But
that show had a bad job. Did a bad job of like introducing the lore, I guess you call it, or explaining it.
Explaining it is probably the biggest complaint I have. Yeah. Is just there was parts of the lore where you would actually have to go into like well, obviously not then, but nowadays it's like there's parts that you would have to go and research and look up from somebody who like deep dived on this shit, because there's parts of the lore that you wouldn't understand until much later.
Yeah, I mean, there's still a lot of it I don't understand. And that was one of my favorite animes back in the day.
Like the whole there's swords.
Yeah,
that's one of them that still kind of confuses me.
Yeah, I still don't quite fully understand the whole.
Because
let's see,
like
Inuyasha's is Tenseiga, I know.
Yeah, there's Tenseiga and Tenseiga.
Yeah,
Tenseiga is the one that Sesshomaru has, and the way that one works is, no matter, you can never cause harm with that sword.
Yes,
that sword is meant only for healing.
And that's why Sesshomaru wants Tenseiga so bad.
Yeah, he wants Tenseiga because it can cut. Well, that's not until much later, but it can actually do damage.
Yeah, he
does eventually get a weapon to substitute, but it's nothing compared to Tenseiga.
Yeah.
Because both of them are made from the fangs of their father.
By the Ox God. Well, the Ox Lord guy or whatever.
Yes, I think so.
Yeah.
I think you're right. I don't remember what the sword that he has. He had it specifically made from somebody. I don't know. It's been a long time since I've watched that.
My God.
But he had that sword made so that he could actually fight, because Tenseiga could only heal. It didn't matter how many times you hit somebody with that, it would only ever heal their wound. Which, in reality, if Sesshomaru had Tenseiga, he would have obliterated all of the demon realm.
He would have.
And I think that's why their father gave him Tenseiga and gave Inuyasha Tenseiga, because Inuyasha had more humanity in him than Sesshomaru did. Sesshomaru was closer to being full-blooded demon than Inuyasha was, which is why he got the weapon that could kill, and Sesshomaru got the weapon that could heal.
Yeah.
Which, from a story perspective, makes a lot of sense, because he saw that in them. He saw that Sesshomaru would be a lot more violent and would be the one to be more prone to, I'm just going to fucking kill you because you're annoying me.
Yeah.
Whereas Inuyasha, while he does a lot of bluster, he's not going to kill somebody outright just because they annoy him.
No. He has to have a reason to freaking kill somebody.
That's one of the biggest things for Inuyasha, is like he has he has morals.
And he actually didn't kill all of his villains either.
No, he didn't. Was it Naraku?
Yeah, Naraku.
He didn't kill Naraku.
And that was one of the worst villains in the entire series.
He was the worst villain.
Yeah.
He didn't kill Naraku.
No.
It was Sesshomaru that killed him.
Yeah.
Sesshomaru in the end ended up killing him because he wanted to help Naraku because of backstory. But he wanted to stop Naraku, but he didn't want to necessarily kill him if he didn't have to.
Exactly.
Where Sesshomaru was like, I'll just fucking kill you because it's easier. And he even fucked with Kagome. And Inuyasha, well, I think the only reason that he really didn't want to is because Kagome didn't necessarily want him to kill him.
Yeah.
Like, give him a chance. But, I mean, you also got to understand, like, Naraku's backstory. He had a very tragic...
Oh, he did.
He went through a lot of shit.
Yeah, he was burnt nearly to death.
Yeah, he barely survived that, and then he survived by consuming other demons.
Yeah.
Because he had to.
And Kikyo had a lot to do with that.
Yeah, that's true. That's another aspect to it, is Kikyo kind of essentially cursed him.
Yeah.
So that was the tragic story for him, which is like, I get it. I understood that. Like, and I even understood why he wanted, like, that's a lot, the thing with a lot of animes back in the 90s is like, they had villains. While I can appreciate the villain that does shit for no reason.
Yeah.
Like, nah, I'm just going to blow this bank up, or I'm going to blow this school up. Why? Yeah, because I feel like it.
Exactly.
I like villains that are villains for villainy sake. They are monsters. They are irredeemable things that need to die. I can appreciate that type of villain or monster, what have you.
Yes.
But I also like a redeemable villain.
Yeah.
But
I get that.
Oh, that's becoming such a big thing recently.
It actually has. It really has in more modern anime.
And more, not even just in anime, just in shows in general. Like
redemption.
Yeah, it's the whole redemption thing. It's like not all villains are fucking redeemable.
Yeah,
not all villains are gonna have these sad backstories. It's like, oh, I was hurt and I went through this horrible, horrible shit, and I'm only doing this because, insert justifiable reason here. No, there are fucking villains that are just monsters.
Yeah.
Because they believe themselves to be right in their monster. In Jesus Christ, how the fuck do I speak? They believe themselves to be right in what they believe in,
exactly.
Even if it's completely fucking wrong. It's just they are fucked up.
Yeah,
they are
something in their heads. Just
they are fucked up beyond all reason. And they're not even monsters for really any reason other than just being monsters.
Exactly.
I love villains like that because it gives me a reason to love to hate them.
Exactly.
Whereas, like, I feel guilty for this villain. I don't think they should die. They should have, they should be given a chance. They should be helped. I want to hate a fucking villain. Like, one of my favorite video game villains who, oh, shit. They are, uh-oh. I'm losing it. I've lost it.
Oh.
Video games are another area that it covers, but there's also a lot of villains in it that are just monsters. They're evil.
Yeah.
They're evil for evil's sake, or out of greed or whatever, what have you. That's gonna bother me forever until I remember it. I'll remember it later.
Oh yeah.
I'll call you and be like, it was that motherfucker. That's who it was.
Or we're gonna be doing a podcast next week, and he's gonna be like, oh my gosh,
it was that son of a bitch. Yeah, no, that's gonna be what happens. Like the first thing you're gonna hear from me is, it was that son of a bitch. That's who it was.
We've completely derailed from where we was at. Because
I don't even remember.
We was on tournament anime.
Oh yeah, that's right. We were on the tournament.
Yeah, we was covering Yu Yu Hakusho was moving in the Dragon Ball.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, the whole tournament trope thing. It started with me with Yu Yu Hakusho and the Dark Tournament.
Yeah.
Now, granted, Dragon Ball I think was the first one to do it, but I wasn't introduced into Dragon Ball until later. I never really had it. Whenever I was a kid, I didn't have much of an interest in it.
Yeah, I was introduced into Dragon Ball Z before I was Dragon Ball.
See, I was too, and I think that's mostly where a lot of the tournament stuff happened with Dragon Ball Z.
And yes, Dragon Ball had a few tournaments in it.
There was because he actually fought against Chi-Chi, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he fought about Chi-Chi. That's originally where he fought Yamcha. Was in the tournament.
Yeah, that's right. Poor Yamcha.
Yamcha.
He got the shit kicked out.
I swear, I think he needs his own little miniseries. Just saying, it'd be funny.
There wouldn't be much to write for him.
No, there wouldn't.
And he was just the dude that got the shit kicked out of it. Kind of like Krillin. Kind of like Krillin. Krillin got the shit kicked out of him. Like, it was almost religious how much he got the shit kicked out of him.
All the memes. Between him and Krillin, there are so many memes.
Yamcha was the worst, though.
Yeah.
While Krillin remained in the series and still continuously got the shit... Yamcha got the shit kicked out of him so hard, he got removed from the series almost.
I'm gonna cosplay as Yamcha one year and just lay down on the ground.
Just lay down, just do the whole like...
Do the whole pose.
Yeah, the Family Guy pose where he's laying on... Just...
Ragdoll it.
Because that's the perfect cosplay of Yamcha, because he just... That's all he did is get the shit kicked out of him.
Oh, but yeah, all the tournaments in Dragon Ball though, shit.
I think one of my biggest complaints for like the Dragon Ball stuff is like one fight would last 13 fucking episodes. Oh my
gosh, you'd have one episode where they're just doing nothing but
they're just sitting there screaming, going. I was like, Jesus.
Yeah, they're screaming and all dialogue's coming from the sidelines. It's just like
they're essentially just watching these people scream, and it like. The commentary, like you said, the commentary is coming from the sidelines, side characters.
Exactly.
Now, that was like the main fights or the main tournament fights. There were some where like whenever they went to Namek, and they fought. Oh Jesus fucking Christ!
They fought Frieza on Namek.
It's the memeiest of the meme shit. The Ginyu Force. That's what it was. The Ginyu Force.
I love the Ginyu Force. It was so annoying, but I love them.
Those fights, while they were similar in that vein of like taking a couple episodes, they were a lot quicker.
They were
than the main fights, like with the tournaments or like fighting the big bads. And oh my god, I think my favorite one was one with anytime that they fought or who was it? Oh, what is his name?
Was it Frieza?
No, he was part of he was like the one that annoyed the shit out of Vegeta the most.
Oh, Nappa.
Yeah, Nappa.
Nappa.
Like anytime that Nappa had like fought, I looked forward to those just because he was so stupid.
My brain goes back to DBZ Abridged.
Oh, fuck, Team 4-Star?
Yes.
Oh, man. Vegeta! Vegeta!
What?
Hi. I'm a ghost now.
God damn it, Nappa.
God damn it, Nappa! And just bloodshot. Just that one bloodshot. Like, he has a fucking aneurysm. I'm a ghost now.
Hey, Vegeta. It's a Pokemon.
Hey, Vegeta, it's a Pokemon. Throw a Pokeball.
It was Krillin.
Oh, God. Yeah. Oh, that makes me want to watch DBZ Abridged again.
Oh, yeah.
Just for, like, the...
And the thing is, Chris Sabat was in there voicing Vegeta.
Was he really?
Yes.
No shit.
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Yes.
Oh, my God. I wish somebody would have told me that he was the actual voice.
Yes, he was the actual voice for Vegeta in there.
Oh my god!
So not only did he voice in the actual anime,
not only was he Vegeta, but he voiced bullshit Vegeta too.
Exactly.
Kakarot.
Because I don't know if you knew this.
You fucking meathead.
I'm not gonna name the convention, but Team 4-Star was at
the one that we go to.
Yes.
Holy shit! When did they show up?
At the same time Chris Sabat was there.
When? That had to be years ago.
That was before.
That was before we started.
That was before me and you.
Yeah, that was before. That had to be way before we started going together.
Yeah.
Holy fuck! That would have been amazing,
dude. They had a panel with the two together. It was badass.
Oh my god, I would have loved that. Wait, did they actually have the one who did Nappa too there? Like all of them were there, or was it like most of them?
I know Nappa was not there, but they had quite a few in there.
Oh my god, I would have loved to have been there just so I could go, "Hey Vegeta, I'm a ghost now," and just listen to him scream, "God damn it, Nappa!"
And that's why his voice is so good in the abridged.
Oh, I wondered why it sounded the way it did. I never knew that. Oh, I feel so stupid.
It just blew your mind.
Yeah, like the original voice actor for Vegeta was in the abridged as Vegeta. Like, fuck.
What?
No wonder it sounded so fucking good and convincing. Oh, yeah, I think my favorite scene was like whenever Nappa died and he's talking to Vegeta, like as a ghost. Like, I don't remember how many episodes that lasted, like with Nappa just being a ghost in Vegeta's ear talking to him. I think it's like it was nonstop, wasn't it? Because Nappa would just come in with random shit.
It just random.
He'd go, "Shut up, Nappa," and like Goku or whoever would be like, "What was that?" And he's like, "Nothing." Fucking nothing. Leave it alone. Like he was going insane. It's just, that was one of my favorite bits was with Nappa.
I'll just tell you, the voice actor for Goku loves to torment Vegeta's voice actor.
Oh shit!
They had this little battle that's been going on for years.
The actual voice actors, for Vegeta and
Goku, the American voice actors. Holy shit! They love to go back and forth with each other.
Oh my god, I didn't know that. Mm-hmm. Like they're actual best friends.
Yeah, they're friends.
I would expect something like that to happen, especially whenever you work on something like that lasts for fucking years.
Yeah, they always play pranks on each other.
Oh Jesus! Oh no, they're those.
Yeah,
they're those.
Yeah.
Oh. Like, I wasn't really big into Dragon Ball, but Abridged, oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh wow, that derailed a little bit.
Well, it
a little. It stayed within the genre.
It was within the vein of Dragon Ball, just not the tournament aspect of it. But really, it was Dragon Ball Z, Yu Hakusho. I think there was a few others.
There was a few more that did the whole tournament arc.
But it was more like a cameo trope than it was like a running theme, like with Dragon Ball.
Yeah.
I would say that I would even go so far as to say like the Dark Tournament in Yu Yu Hakusho was like a cameo trope, because if you read the manga, it continues a lot further than that. But I don't think there's another tournament for that. I think it focuses after that. It focuses more on the aspect of Yusuke being a spirit detective.
Yeah, it does, because it quickly go after that tournament. That's basically all the anime is Yusuke doing the spirit detective work.
Yeah, there was a reason that they went to the tournament. I don't remember what the reason was, but it was.
I think it was some world-ending thing, but
it's always some world-ending
is
fucking thing or potentially world-ending thing.
You're not gonna have a super successful anime without some world-ending thing happening somewhere within the anime.
It's like every other week. Oh shit, the world's gonna end.
It's like, good lord, what kind of universe you live in?
But after the Dark Tournament, if I remember right, it does mostly focus on the spirit detective aspect of it. So again, the whole cameo, that's the trope being a cameo. Whereas Dragon Ball Z, it's a continuous, reoccurring thing. There's always some sort of tournament happening, but there's a reason for that, and that's because Goku is a fighter.
Yeah,
he's always that number one thing. He is always a fighter. He's always going to be interested in tournaments and fighting in the tournaments, because that is his main thing. Is because he likes the challenge of the tournaments and fighting honestly.
Yes.
Which is why the whole tournament thing started. And ever since then, there's been animes that'll like bring it in as like a one-off thing.
Yeah. I wish I could think
like they'll have it as like a one-off thing or as an arc.
Yeah. And
as it were.
And with how popular Dragon Ball Z is, it shows in a lot of animes throughout the years, because a lot of times they'll reference Dragon Ball Z.
In some shape or form, yes. But you've also got to think.
Of course, namely the meme on it, but
it's one of the most memeable fucking animes there is. Like I heard, whether this is true or not, I don't know. I could be completely fucking wrong. Every time that there was a new episode of Dragon Ball Z, apparently they did like research on cartel activity, specifically, the Mexican cartel.
Yeah.
There was a correlation between the release of a Dragon Ball Z episode and the decrease in cartel activity.
Really?
Yes. That was supposedly supposed to be an actual research thing that they did. So anytime that there was a release of a new Dragon Ball Z episode, there would be less cartel activity, and that would be the time that, to go and infiltrate and do things and whatnot and what have you. That's how popular this fucking anime is. It caused the cartel to decrease in their activity for that day.
Dang it.
Now, like I said, whether that's true or not, I do not know, but it's supposedly true.
Yeah, that's the first I've actually heard of that.
Yeah, it's Dragon Ball Z. Dragon Ball in general is so heavily popular in Mexico that I just explained the whole cartel thing. Like that was just how fucking popular it was, at least in the realm of Mexico. That shit was. I learned about that, and I honestly didn't know whether to believe it or not. I still don't know whether to believe it or not, but.
I'm going to have to do a deep dive.
No, I would recommend you do that. I haven't done it just because I don't care enough to.
Yeah.
But
I'm slightly intrigued. I'm going to have to do a little bit of diving myself on this topic.
I could be wrong. I don't know. For y'all out there, I could be wrong. Correct me if I am wrong. I don't care. But that's just what I heard. Oh, well.
Wow. Holy crap.
But yeah, that was really popular. The tournament thing was really popular around the DBZ era.
It was.
And mostly it was Dragon Ball Z that did that. There were like
other animes.
There were other animes, like how you were saying that there were anime that were inspired by Dragon Ball Z. There was. Mm-hmm. Now they might not have resembled it in any way, but they did pay homage to it in some shape or form.
Kind of like one that's a whole different genre of anime, which it's more early 2000s, but I'll throw it in here, Beyblade.
Oh, Jesus fucking Christ. Now, don't get me wrong.
Screaming at tops for 30 minutes.
Yeah, if you like Beyblade,
Which I do love it, but
that's totally fine. I respect I respect that you like Beyblade. I'm not going to shit on you for it. You like what you like. It's not my cup of tea, but I'm going to give my opinion. I fucking hated Beyblade. It was the most useless goddamn anime that there was. It's like Bakugan, man. It's the same concept.
Well,
it's just one is a top, the other is little fucking ball bearings, essentially, that are made out of plastic that turn into little... Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Well, the reason I like Beyblade so much is because it's so stupid that it's funny.
It is. It's so bad that it's good.
Exactly. And same thing goes for like Metabots.
Now, well, Metabots is a little different. Let me explain.
There's some darkness in that one now.
That also, there we go again. Animes and tournaments. Mm-hmm. Metabots, Beyblades, and Bakugan. All three of those revolved around some type of battling and tournaments.
Yes.
Metabots had promise, though.
It did.
The story, like, especially with, like, Metabee and how he became, like, essentially the way he was. Mm-hmm. I like the story behind that. It had promise, but they fucking canceled the shit.
They did. That one did tick me off.
That pissed me the fuck off. It wasn't getting enough views. There wasn't enough ratings for it. You still could have kept going. If you would have continued the story, it would have increased over time.
Yeah, and the thing is, they still make video games for this shit.
Yeah. You're right. They still made video games for fucking Metabots.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was a video game that came out last year.
If I remember right, didn't they make a Bakugan like game?
Yeah, they made like 2 or 3 of them.
Holy shit! And
they made a Bakugan card game on.
Like those are still like at their core the same concept as Metabots, but I don't know what fucking went wrong with Metabots.
I don't know either. That's one thing. It kind of just disappeared.
It kind of fell off the face of the earth, and it was a good anime. Like the concept of it was really good. The story of it was really good. The execution, while it needed a little work, it still was enough to draw in a crowd.
Yeah, it's the bones to make
the bones were there
to make something real good was there, but
they gave up on it.
Yeah,
they gave up on it. It wasn't making the money that they wanted it to at the beginning. Mm-hmm. Instead of like investing in it and trying to make it better than what it was. Exactly. Improving the animation quality, progressing the story, and the characters, their backstories, their growth. They gave up on that shit way too early.
Oh, they did.
Whereas like you got this bullshit like Beyblade still going to this day.
Yeah, I'm like, God.
And then there's another one, fucking Vanguard card fight, Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah.
Well, that falls into like the card game tournaments. Whereas like,
you had Monster Ranch. That had some premise too. And
Monster
Rancher.
I don't think. No, I did watch a little bit of. I have not finished that. I watched like 1 or 2 episodes. I'm gonna have to look into that. But I know what you're talking about. But. The whole Yu-Gi-Oh thing, to this day, it's still going.
Yeah.
Yu-Gi-Oh! This shit's gone ridiculous.
Like, how much can you do over a card game?
Yeah. Well, look at Pokemon, dude. Fucking look at Pokemon.
And just like that started with bugs. Just bugs.
Yeah. Bugs, mice, and cats and shit.
Yeah.
Normal, everyday, and then they make ice cream Pokemon. What the fuck?
Okay,
Not just an ice cream, a ghost type. What the fuck? How does that make sense?
Yeah, whenever they actually started putting like actual... making Pokemon out of objects like that, I was like, come on.
There's like garbage.
I know,
there's
Trubbish.
A fucking...
Trubbish.
A fucking garbage... Literally! Not just saying the Pokemon is garbage. It is literally fucking garbage. Like,
I see him, I think of Oscar the Grouch from Sesame Street.
Like...
Except melted down.
Jesus Christ. Well, he looks like a fucking trash bag with garbage sticking out of him. Like, I got the whole concept behind Grimer. Like, Grimer was like the original,
he
kind
cleans.
Yeah,
Grimer's clean.
Grimer, I mean,
they're born from sludge.
Even Grubbage has like a purpose. Like they clean up trash. Where Grimer is more like in the sewers. Mm-hmm. Grubbage like cleans up garbage and trash. It actually eats the trash and garbage. But if it eats like certain types of garbage, it'll actually make it sick. Mm-hmm. I watched that episode actually, and I was like, "What the fuck is this Pokemon?" I mean, there's Pokemon of like, was it Banetta? It's a possessed toy that was unloved. Yeah. There's Pokemon of toys that are unloved. It's literally
Pokemon that abduct children.
Yeah, the fucking balloon one. What the fuck is that? what the fuck? I can't remember what it is. It's the balloon one. I know what you're talking about. And that Drifloon, that's what it is. They just kept like the first generation of Pokemon. Like I know 99% of them.
Yeah, same.
If you showed me a picture of them, I can go, oh, it's that Pokemon.
After the first 2 generations, I can't recall.
It got crazy.
It did.
Like they just started releasing. If they had a single iota of an idea, they're like, let's make that into a Pokemon.
Exactly.
Like I just said, they made an ice cream Pokemon. They made a garbage Pokemon. Oh God, I'm gonna have an aneurysm. There were so many. Now, don't get me wrong. There was a lot of them that were really good ideas.
Yes.
I mean, for fuck's sake, they made a weed cat.
I love
the cat that has the pot plant on its fucking face and has red Sprigatito.
Yeah. I love Sprigatito.
It has red eyes.
It does.
Looks like it got stoned out of its fucking mind.
It does.
And the ironic part is, that's one of my favorite fucking ones. Because it evolves from Sprigatito.
The Meowscarada.
And then the Meowscarade.
Yeah.
That's my favorite fucking evolution of it. Like
that's the one time I started the Pokemon game with a grass type.
That's the only time I would have.
Yes.
Because normally, like the first Pokemon
Don't
game.
get me wrong, I do love Chikorita though.
Hey, I like Cyndaquil.
Okay.
Cyndaquil and like I found that for the most part I start with fire types.
Same.
Except for the exception of Piplup. I did Piplup and evolved it eventually into Empoleon. And oh my fucking god, did I destroy with them. It really all it is about the way they appear, because if you get a fire type Pokemon, they essentially can do what any other fire type Pokemon can do.
Exactly.
It doesn't matter. It's just like pick your favorite one and then make it learn the moves that you want it to learn.
Exactly.
At least in the context of the games, it doesn't matter.
No.
If you can find the Pokemon that you like of that type, you can make it learn whatever moves you need it to learn.
Any Pokemon in those games, you can actually end up steamrolling any other Pokemon if you, most.
Okay, here's
most. There are a few exceptions.
Well, yeah, that's true. Like, okay, I just had a memory unlock. Did you know that Doduo can learn to fly?
Yes.
How does that make sense?
No.
That fucker has no goddamn wings. Does it take off like a helicopter with its head going?
Actually, yes. There's a video online.
Oh no.
Yes.
Oh please.
Yes.
You're joking.
I am not joking. There is a video online of Doduo with his head spinning around like a helicopter.
Like a goddamn top.
Yes.
I was joking about that, but I did not know that was going to become reality.
It did.
There's like some Pokemon that are registered as like a specific type, like a dragon type.
Yeah.
Look like a fucking dog. Like,
yeah.
How does that make sense? They look nothing like a dragon type. Why? How? How does that make sense?
I don't know.
And then there's, no, that one actually does make sense. Because there's some that are a lot of the Pokemon are based, like, how they're registered is like off of how they look. Mm-hmm. But there's also some that are extremely fucking misleading. Like Mimikyu. If you looked at it at first, what would you think its type would be?
Fairy.
You would think it's fairy, right? It's a fucking dark type.
Yeah.
It is a dark type with a hatred of Pikachu.
Yep.
The fucked up part is I really like Mimikyu.
Same. I love that Pokemon.
I had somebody who thought it was a fairy type because it looks like it would be a fairy type.
It does.
It has that whimsy to it. It has that whimsy to it. But the lore behind Mimikyu is fucking depressing.
Especially once you see what it does to freaking Meowth the first time.
I don't remember. I never saw that. I don't think.
Meowth saw
underneath it. The lore behind that is if you ever peek underneath its disguise and see it for what it is, it'll kill you.
Yeah, but somehow Meowth survived it. It scarred him badly.
It did something to him. Because the whole lore behind that is it's supposed to kill you outright.
Yeah.
You're supposed to die from it. I'm fully under the impression that not everything that's in the Pokedex is correct.
No, by no means.
I think some of it is just like lore. Mm-hmm. Like what you said with Meowth looking under and actually seeing what Mimikyu really looked like, it didn't kill him outright.
No, it didn't.
But it terrified the shit out of him. And I think that's what it is. I don't think it'll kill you. I think that lore was made so that nobody would look under there and be terrified of Mimikyu. They don't want people to be scared of Mimikyu. They
Yeah.
want people to understand Mimikyu.
Exactly.
That's why they made that lore so that people wouldn't be afraid of it. That's why Meowth didn't die, is because, well, it won't actually kill you. It just, its appearance, its true appearance is
shit out of you.
Yeah, it's terrifying. But they want you to understand it, not be afraid of it.
Exactly.
But the problem with that is it adds to, like, you being afraid of it because it can kill you. But with the anime for Pokemon, they don't really follow the lore behind each of the Pokemon.
No, they don't.
Because, for fuck's sake, there's lore behind Gengar. Like, it is your doom.
Yeah.
Gengar is supposed to mean your doom. Your death is approaching.
Yeah, but Ash plays with them.
Not only Ash, there's plenty of other people that play with Gengar.
Well, Gengar and Haunter actually pull Ash Pikachu out of their bodies. They physically die.
Yeah, oh, Jesus Christ, don't even get me started on that. Ash has died no less than about 4 times.
He's died more than Goku almost.
Jesus, yeah. No, he has. Like, because the first time that I remember him nearly dying, there's a whole theory behind that, too.
Yeah.
It's like whenever he gets struck by lightning by Pikachu while he's on the bike.
Yeah.
He gets struck by, or no, is it by Pikachu? Whenever he's getting chased by the Pidgey.
Yeah, by the
on the
Fearos.
Yeah, no, it's the
Spearows.
Spearows. It's the prick bird Pokemon.
Yeah.
That's all I know. I thought it was the Pidgeys, but no,
It was the Spearows.
Spearows. The Spearows are chasing after him, and he gets struck by lightning because, no, what it is, he's trying to get Pikachu rushed to
the hospital.
Mm-hmm. And he gets struck by lightning.
Yeah.
There's a whole theory. I'm sure plenty of you out there know the theory behind that, but like how Ash is technically in a coma and like everything from there on
is basically a fever dream.
Well, not really a fever
really
dream.
But
It's his mind making sense of the coma that he's in.
yeah.
It's essentially just continuing the story, trying to help him cope with the fact that he's in a coma.
Yeah.
But there's that, and then there's the whole fight with Mewtwo. Mm-hmm. He gets caught in between Mew and Mewtwo and essentially turns to stone and dies. Like, I'm sorry, straight out, he's dead.
Yeah.
He's fucking dead. So there's those 2 times, and then there's...
he dies in almost every movie.
Well...
Almost.
There was the Pokemon 2000 with Lugia. I don't think he actually dies in that.
He came on the brink of...
There's a lot of times either he comes on the brink of death or he does die.
Yeah.
Because there's the more recent one where he is like that dark candle-headed fucking look. He essentially turns into Stardust.
Yeah.
And he disappears, and then Pikachu just fucking rampages and loses his shit. I have never seen a display of power like that from any other Pokemon.
No.
Especially one that's only like a normal Pokemon.
This is a rat that's a god, basically.
Well, you've got to think. The only reason Pikachu hasn't evolved is because it doesn't want to.
No, it don't.
Pikachu, for what it is probably one of the strongest Pikachus that exists. Mm-hmm. Just because of the fact that it refuses to evolve because it doesn't want to.
Yeah.
It doesn't want to change, but its power level is
exponential.
It's insane.
Yeah.
And that is one part in the anime where I think it shows just how strong Ash's Pikachu really is because of the output that it gives. Because it flash fries everything around it.
Yeah.
And like 30, 40 feet. 30, 40, 50 feet around it. Like, it either flash fries around it or blinds the fuck out of everything around it.
Yeah.
And the lightning bolt that it releases is something that would be considered from a legendary Pokemon. Mm-hmm. That's insane for a Pikachu.
Yeah.
I honestly think that Pikachu holds back a lot when it's fighting against other Pokemon because of that.
It could easily kill another Pokemon.
Oh God, we've went off the rails from the tournament thing.
Yeah,
again.
we have again.
I just caught myself because I was about to rail on the fact that like, oh shit, what were we doing? Where was I?
What?
Ash dying, Pikachu. I don't know. It'll come back to me later. But the whole tournament thing, Pokemon is another one. That's one of the biggest ones next to Dragon Ball Z.
Definitely.
Bakugan, Yu-Gi-Oh. Yu-Gi-Oh's like.
Just die already.
Just fucking die already.
Oh, that's gonna sponsor me. I don't care.
I don't care. Hate me all you want.
Yeah, that's our opinions.
Yu-Gi-Oh needs to die. It needed to die after like it had nothing to do with Yugi.
Exactly.
Because the whole...
After they started riding around on motorcycles dueling.
Oh, Jesus fucking Christ. Yeah, I watched some of that. Like, once it started to get to the outrageous, that's whenever I was like, I think it needs to be done.
Yeah, after they started doing that, I was like, no.
We're
This is so far away from the original.
Yeah, like, I mean, anime in general is outrageous, but there's, like, being the outrageous that was intended and then going to something like that.
Yeah, there comes a part where, yes, a lot of anime is for marketing and merchandise. I get that. Yeah. But there comes a point where you're just going way too far with it.
With the whole Yu-Gi-Oh, with the original Yu-Gi-Oh, the Duel Masters, the whole thing with that, there was a story behind it with the Millennium items and the things like that. I get, having some that continue after that, because there was one where Yugi actually gave a character their Kuribo, like the main protagonist of the show, his Kuribo, and passed it on to him. It was like, here, I think you could use this. And Kuribo is like his, I don't know. That's where it started to get a little outlandish for me, because for some reason Kuribo was like a real spirit guide type deal thing. But it also kind of makes sense because in some aspect, all the duel monsters, they exist. Yeah. They're real. But they exist in the shadow realm.
Yeah, they're all like real spirits and monsters in this realm.
Yeah, but they don't exist here. They exist in the shadow realm, but they're fucking real.
Yeah.
Which, like I said, it started to get a little outlandish right there, because they're not supposed to be able to exist in this world without the conception of without a shadow duel, they can't enter our world.
Exactly.
And that's what makes it so dangerous. It's because the only way they can come through is with a shadow duel, and that's whenever people can actually die. But that kind of died off in the original Yu-Gi-Oh!
Yeah.
What is it? Yu-Gi-Oh! The one where Yugi actually gave his Kuribo card to the main protagonist. I think they were the shadow duel thing concept was still there.
Yeah, I think that's like third season.
Second or third.
I'm pretty sure third season.
Yeah, because the second season actually was still the original Yu-Gi-Oh, but it had more to do with the Pharaoh and the Millennium item. Like it actually followed through with that storyline. And then the third season of Yu-Gi-Oh! It started off with that and Yugi passing on his Kuribo onto the main protagonist, and he was going to a duelist academy.
Yes.
I don't remember what the name of that one was.
Me neither.
But it started to get more outlandish, and that's kind of where I stopped it. Like I watched some of that, but it just started to get a little too far away from the original. I was like, I'm kind of done with this. I'm bored with it. Because it was the original storyline that got me interested in all of it. Because it was Egypt, and I mean,
yeah, that's what drew me. It was the whole Egypt thing.
Yeah, the ancient gods and like the Millennium items and the backstory behind those and the lore, and that's what drew me into the original Yu-Gi-Oh! It wasn't even the cards necessarily. The cards are cool as shit. Yeah, like the original cards, like the Egyptian god cards.
Yeah, I used to have all those.
Those are so fucking hard to find now.
I know.
Like the actual not the bootleg shit, but like real Egyptian god cards are hard as fuck to find now. They're worth a lot.
Yeah, you used to be able to get those in magazines.
I remember the Shonen Jumps.
That's where I got all mine from.
The Shonen Jumps?
Yes, the Shonen Jump.
I never really... I got a few, but I never got that many.
That's where I got
Blue Eye Shining Dragon from.
That's where
I got that from the movie.
Yeah, I got my ultimate from a Shonen Jump.
I think I got
all my Egyptian god cards from Shonen Jumps too.
The thing is that there was only certain cards that you could get with the Shonen Jumps, and then they moved on from like Yu-Gi-Oh cards to like other things. Like they would have some shit in them every once in a while. It wasn't like every issue, because I used to go out and buy the fucking Shonen Jumps.
Yeah,
like I think it was like every week they would release a new Shonen Jump, but they used to sell them at when it was still here, Fred's.
Yeah.
They used to sell the Shonen Jumps there, and I would go there and I'd buy them for like $15.
Yeah.
And they would have like, sometimes they would have Yu-Gi-Oh cards in them, other times they might have like mini posters in them, or just things like that.
Yeah. Or a lot of us weebs got a lot of our merch back in the day.
Yeah, well, merch. I'd say in quotation. Where the fuck were we?
We completely derailed.
Oh yeah, no. I kind of quit with the Yu-Gi-Oh stuff after the third season, like probably about midway through it. If I remember right, I think Pegasus did make an appearance in that, because he was still around. He actually was the one who came up with the Duelist Academy. And after that, I kind of quit with that. And I think the next like tournament-esque anime that I went to was, well, I mean, to be fair, Pokemon was always there. I watched that shit on and off continuously.
It's always gonna be kind of there.
Oh yeah, always. Just because it's so prolific, it's everywhere.
That's usually why I go to. If I can't find anything else to watch, I'll pop on some Pokemon or something.
It depends for me. I have a selection of anime that I'll rewatch. More recently, I've started rewatching That Time I Was Reincarnated into Slime.
Nice. Yeah, I'm actually fixing to start out on the light novel.
Oh, the light novel for it? Oh, dude, it gets... I could ruin some shit for you, but I'm not going to. It gets crazy.
Yeah, we'll leave that for...
That'll be another episode.
Different podcast for sure.
Different podcast episode.
Yeah.
But I think after the Yu-Gi-Oh, like, I tried to get into Duel Masters.
Yeah, no, I tried.
That died pretty quick.
I got through maybe one season.
It was basically trying to be a Yu-Gi-Oh knockoff.
It was, and that's where it died. Was basically it was trying too hard to be Yu-Gi-Oh.
It was trying to be something that it should have tried to be its own thing instead of trying to copy Yu-Gi-Oh. The whole thing with Yu-Gi-Oh was the Egyptian aspect as well as like the lore behind it, because they had established a lot of shit in that. Where Duel Masters was just like, we're gonna battle with cards. That was the only thing they had going.
Yeah,
and it died pretty quick.
Yeah, it did.
And then after that, I think I kind of gave up with the tournament stuff, like any type of tournament, and that's whenever I started getting more into like fantasy animes.
Oh yeah, I say that's probably about the same
because Duel Masters was like early 2000s. Because that was like around the time that
was
Yu-Gi-Oh was at its like the
2003 2005 kind of deal.
Yeah, that was like right at the sunset of the original Yu-Gi-Oh series.
Yeah,
that was whenever the original Yu-Gi-Oh series was at its sunset.
Yeah,
it wasn't over yet, but it was almost there. It was about to be done. And then I started getting into
and these are the days that Adult Swim was a big prevalent thing.
Or Toonami. Toonami was really big.
Yeah, well, some shows I couldn't watch on. You couldn't watch on Toonami, but you'd see on Adult Swim.
Right.
Like,
example, Hamtaro was one of them.
Oh my god, I love Hamtaro.
That shit, I thought that was so funny because it was like you would watch Yu Yu Hakusho, you'd watch Inuyasha, you would watch. Sometimes they would have Mobile Fighter. Here is, ladies and gentlemen, I'm about to name an anime that probably most of you don't know. It is known as Big O.
Big O.
Okay, some of you know it, most of you don't. Personally, it is one of my favorites.
Was so badass.
It was one of my favorites because it was like a novella mystery noir.
It was
with giant fucking giga robots fighting monsters. Big O. It was amazing. I love the concept behind it. The thing is, though, it was definitely not made for children.
No.
No. It wasn't even. I won't even say that like the content was really the problem. Well, I wouldn't recommend a child watch that because of the content and what it revolved around. It was like the ideas and concepts that went into the story. No child was going, no one above the age or below the age of 12 was going to understand anything that was going into that anime, especially with like the amnesia and, you know, the whole reason why they were in the domes or why the monsters were attacking. Like there were a lot of story aspects that even as an adult, I don't necessarily fully understand what was going on.
Yeah. Because
they cut it so short, they didn't finish the storyline. There was a lot of threads that they left untied. They're just loose threads. Like, they never really fully explained why nobody remembered anything. Because it was the whole city.
Yeah.
The whole city had nobody remembered who they were before like a certain event. There was a certain event that kicked off like 40 years ago, and after that nobody remembered who they were or why they were where they were or anything. They had complete amnesia. The only thing that they remembered was their names, but nothing about who they were.
Yeah.
And any information that revolved around them or anybody else was wiped. nobody could access any information about who they were or could even remember. That was one of the big storylines that I really wanted to be concluded. I was like, why can't anybody remember? Why even was their memory erased to begin with?
Yeah.
And why does this dude have Big O? Where the fuck did he even come from to begin with? And why can he even pilot the damn thing?
Yeah.
And like, they did start to touch on like one of the, I can't remember what her name is. She's the redhead. I can't remember what.
Oh
her name
yeah,
is.
I can't remember like none of the names in that.
I can't remember none of their names neither. But the thing is, though, is one of my favorite animes to watch, even if I didn't necessarily understand it because big robot.
Yeah, big robots.
Big robot.
Any prepubescent or pubescent boy, big robots.
Big robot destroy monster. Yes. Yeah. No, that it was the mystery behind it that really drew my attention into it, as well as the big robot fights. That was awesome. But you don't get a lot of animes like that anymore. They're very.
You don't.
But I can also understand why, because for animes like that, it's more tailored to the adult.
It is.
Than it is to the tweens and preteens or whatever the fuck. Their main
demographic.
Their main demographic. That because it goes so far in depth into like different topics that most certainly are not fucking for kids.
Lord, no. Because you get into deep stuff like sex, adultery, all sorts of things.
Oh yeah, that was all over with that was
all over Big O and stuff.
That was all over Big O in some parts of it. Yeah. I mean, not even that, just like some of the adult topics that would come up with it, because it was not made for kids. That was one of them that wasn't. And then there was one I happened upon by accident. I'm gonna out myself on this one right now. It's an anime called Please Teacher. I found it by sheer fucking accident. Yeah, Yep,
it's been a long time, but oh my god.
The thing is, though, it's very fan servicey.
It is.
It doesn't, well, as far as I know, because I did watch the whole fucking thing.
Yeah, I didn't watch much of it, but I know.
There was story behind it, and like why the character was the way they were. There was story behind it, but it was very fan servicey, as well as like the ending of it was, oh my god, it was, it was very sexualized.
Oh.
That was one I just happened upon by accident, though. I mean, but that's another one that was like from the 90s or like not necessarily 90s, early 2000s.
One I like.
Another one that's like fan servicey, like kind of, but also in some weird ways fucked up is Tenchi Muyo.
Oh yeah,
a lot of you people out there will know that one. Y'all, it's fucking infamous.
It's from that time. That was one of the most. Yes, I believe.
That was one of the most infamous, just for not
big
even
old tickle bitties.
Well, yeah, that's part of it, but also the fact that parts of it revolved around fucking incest.
Yeah.
Because I mean, he essentially ends up like later on like has a whole harem like with Ryoko and she's the fucking princess that's snobby as shit. I don't remember her name.
I can't either.
But they're Ryoko and then Usami. Usami. Whenever she becomes older, though.
Yeah.
Whenever she is actually older, he forms a relationship with her. That's after she she bonds with the tree of Jiraiya, and essentially the way that how she appeared was the way that Usami was going to appear when she got older. And I remember watching that episode, and both Ryoko and what the fuck is her name, the fucking Jiraiyan princess, essentially, were just like, what the fuck? Holy shit! And essentially she became inadvertently a rival between them, but they while she was a rival in some sense, they didn't really look at her that way. Because where she was just essentially a kid. But yeah, that one was so fucking infamous because of all the fucked up shit that they would go through, like with the incest and like with Usami was like the biggest part of it. Is that her name? I don't know. Y'all will correct me if I'm wrong, but I think her name was Usami, the green-haired little girl that y'all know.
Yeah.
There was that, and then what is the little rabbit one? Ryo-Oki. Ryo-Oki. That's it. Even had a human-esque form.
Yeah.
And eventually got older and taller. Like that anime went so off the fucking wall sometimes, especially with the relationship type deal thing. And then there was oh my god, I can't remember her name. She was the doctor.
I can't remember.
You know who I'm talking about?
I know
the redheaded doctor who basically made Ryoko.
Yes.
Made Ryoko and Ryo-Oki. Made both of them. Ryoko was actually derived from her DNA, and then Ryo-Oki was derived from Ryoko to be her ship.
Yeah.
That's another fucking concept that blew me out of the damn water when I started to really think about it. It's like a living thing like Ryo-Oki is a fucking ship, a space ship of all things. But then you also got to think about the fact that the Jiraiyan fleets, like their royal ships, are run by goddamn trees. What the fuck? Like, I kind of understand and get the idea behind it, but like faintly.
Yeah.
Because like with a tree roots, essentially they grew their ships.
Yep.
They grew the fucking ship. This was the time where they were really throwing shit at the wall to see if it stuck.
Yeah, that's one of those. Is like, what were these guys on when coming up with this?
The good shit. They were on the good kush,
shit.
or
the good shrooms, whatever.
LSD. Well, I would say more than likely cocaine.
Yeah,
cocaine, real hard. Yeah. And then there was, oh shit, I'm trying to remember. There was another off-the-wall fucking anime.
I'd go.
Actually, no. I'm not even going to go in that direction. Let's go with the direction of Trigun.
I fucking love Trigun.
I do as well. It was crazy with some of its ideas, but far more tame in comparison to something like Tenchi Muyo.
Yeah.
Now that, and it recently had a
reboot.
Mm-hmm. But they kind of fucked that one up a little bit too.
I've not really went into it that much.
I've not watched that much. I've watched clips.
Yeah. That's
my big thing is I get a lot of my information from clips. Whenever I watch these clips, I look for like first impressions. And my impression of that was, oh God, what have they done?
Yeah.
Like, I don't mind the fact that they changed his style. I thought it was pretty neat.
I mean, his style looks good.
I thought it was pretty neat. Yeah. I thought it was a fresh look for Vash.
A fresh take on the old character.
Yeah. I thought it was a neat look for him. But it seems like they've removed some of the characters and changed the story.
Yeah.
While I'm not necessarily against that, prime example of this is, for me, is the difference between the Resident Evil games and the Resident Evil movies. I fucking love both of them, but for different reasons. Because the movie was supposed to be a different take on the video game. It was supposed to be a whole separate story.
Yeah.
As essentially an alternate universe. Whereas the Trigun and then Trigun Reboot was supposed to be the same universe, but they fucked the story up. If they were going to reboot it, I don't mind you changing some aspects of it, but they changed the whole damn story.
Yeah, they did.
From what from the what do you call that? Where essentially it's like what's the fucking word I'm looking for? An overall of the whole thing. Or synopsis.
Yes. No. Okay. Yeah. There you go.
A synopsis of the whole thing, and my first impression of it was like, y'all removed some of the key details that was originally in this, and I don't like that. I don't mind you changing some shit for story purposes, but I don't like what you've done. Yeah. It's the whole Samurai X thing for me again. Like, if you're going to make an anime different, just do the story different. Because they were... I think what bothers me the most is they're trying to hang on to what was Trigun while also making it different. It's hard to explain. Like, if you're going to make an anime different, just make a different version of it. Make an alternate reality. Tell the story differently. Not hold on to what it was while also changing aspects that were key to it.
Exactly. Yeah, alternate universe theory,
basically. Just make an alternate universe where it was different. Just go ahead and retell the story a different way instead of trying to hold on to what was.
Or from a different character's point of view.
You could do that too. I mean, that was the whole thing with the. I'm gonna rant about this till I fucking die. It was the whole Ronin Kenshin Samurai X thing, because they were trying to hold on to what was Ronin Kenshin while telling the story differently. You can't do that.
No.
You can't fucking do that. Either tell it with some differences, make it a little different, but still hold on to what it is. I'm fine with that. Or make it entirely different story.
Yeah.
You can't. You can do an in between, but it's very difficult. Nobody that I know of has done it correctly.
Not as of yet. I've not seen anyone.
At least successfully. No. Plenty of people have done it with the Trigun, Ronin Kenshin. More recently, what was another one?
I can think of one that's doing really good with the way it's being. It's a reboot.
What is it?
It came out 90s, so Rom the Half.
Yeah, Rom the Half.
The reboot is actually very true to the original.
Original. Mm-hmm. I haven't. No, I have watched Ranma 1/2, but I've watched it with my significant other.
Yeah.
So I only have bits and pieces of it. Kind of like Fruits Basket.
Yeah.
Fruits Basket. That was rebooted too.
That was.
But that one held true to the original.
It did.
But they also expanded upon it.
Mm-hmm.
They added to it. They didn't change anything. They just added to it.
Yeah, I've not watched all the reboot.
I haven't watched all of it either, but I watched enough to get an idea of what's going on.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I would gladly sit down and binge it.
Oh yeah, no.
Easy.
I've watched a part of that with my significant other as well. Like a lot of those animes I will watch with her. I won't watch on my own. But I've watched enough to have an idea for that one.
Yeah.
Because that revolves around the 13, but 12 zodiacs. The cat being the one that's been excluded. Mm-hmm. Because I'm sure plenty of you out there have watched Fruit Basket and know the original story behind why the cat wasn't part of the zodiac. And that was because if I remember right, it was the rat that was supposed to wake the cat up.
Yeah.
To meet at the race, but never did and left the cat out of the race. So that's why they are considered, while they weren't part of the zodiac, they're considered the 13th zodiac.
Yes.
But they never were there for the race. So that's why they were excluded from it, but are still considered a zodiac. I say this, I don't know if you'll get it from my inflection, but I'm doing quotations.
Very much so.
Yeah, that was another one that I have some knowledge on, like Ranma 1/2. Oh, another one of I will say the big three of the 90s. Sailor Moon.
Oh yes, Sailor Moon. That
one is fucking huge.
It's huge, very quirky, and it's one of those. You think it's good, or you think it's bad.
I don't really necessarily have an opinion on it because, I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen, I don't really care for it all that much.
Yeah.
Like, if you like it, that's cool. More power to you. Awesome. I never cared for it all that much. I watched enough to get an idea for it with, like, the whole dynamic between Sailor Moon, Tuxedo Mask, Chibi Moon, Sailor Venus, Mercury, Mars, all of them. Like, I understand what's going on. It's just, I don't care. I never really liked it. I like the whole Sentai aspect behind it, but I never liked the Sailor Moon just for what it was.
Yeah.
Like, given enough time, I could get into it. Mm-hmm. But just as it is right now, I don't care. I don't want it.
Now, I will admit that series can be a little bit brain rotty, if you know what I mean, but...
actually, no, I don't. What do you mean by that?
Like, sometimes they, take the main character, Usagi.
Oh, Jesus Christ, the blonde airhead? Yeah.
The trope that they use on her...
Blonde airhead. That's the trope.
And that's the one thing about that drives me batty.
I honestly wish they would have made her intelligent. Yeah, I really do. Because it doesn't fit with the character.
No, it don't.
Like, I get the whole... I get it. Like, make her blonde airhead, but, that's floaty and happy and go lucky. I would have appreciated it more if she would have been more intelligent. Like, actually intelligent. But that's probably one of the reasons why I don't really like it all that much. It's just because of that trope. I don't like the trope of the main character being stupid.
Yeah.
Well,
but they can be stupid to an extent.
They can be stupid in a certain aspect, like being blind to, you know, like being stupid in the regards of romance, or like, but not just outright dumb.
Yeah,
Usagi was dumb. Even like in her school life, she was dumb. She failed in her classes and shit like that. It wasn't
never studied.
It wasn't like, oh, she's kind of socially like awkward and
Usagi was a spoiled brat that never done anything.
Yeah, she was, and I honestly did not like that about her character. I would have been more appreciative of the fact that the character was intelligent and, you know, being like a Sentai, like a Sentai-esque, like adjacent type thing with the whole, well, not even that, just magical girl.
Yeah.
Just magical girl. But it had that Sentai feel to it.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, most magical girl animes like that do.
Yeah, it does.
Because it's basically the female Sentai.
Mm-hmm.
But I would have been more appreciative if she would have been more intelligent, she was selfish as fuck too.
Oh yeah.
I mean, she did do,
especially at the start of the anime, she was extremely selfish.
Oh yeah, dumb and selfish.
Yeah. Now, as you get further into it, she flips.
She kind of, yeah.
But
okay. So the part that I don't know when it happened, but I did watch an episode that was later on, like that revolved around Chibi Moon,
mm-hmm.
and it was like a 180.
Oh yeah.
She was.
It's a whole different character.
She was selfless. She was kind. She was actually kind of fucking smart. It's like, whoa. Okay, I don't know where it happened.
Well, eventually she's like a goddess towards the end of it.
She is.
Yeah.
Because she's supposed to be the reincarnation of like a princess, mm-hmm. and Tuxedo Mask is supposed to be like the prince.
Yeah.
Which is their whole dynamic, but they don't know it.
Yeah, they don't.
Oh. And the whole reason that he becomes Tuxedo Mask, like in the beginning, is because he has one of those fucking gems in him.
Yep.
But later on, he still maintains Tuxedo Mask because he is the prince.
Yeah.
He has his own capabilities, and that gem just allowed him to tap into that a lot more and empower it. It drew it out.
Yeah.
Is what it was. But that you don't find that out until much later.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I understand now what you mean by Brody.
Yeah. Yeah, you kind of get it now.
Yeah, I kind of get it now that I'm thinking about it. But I just reignited my dislike for Sailor Moon. I reignited it, and I don't like that.
Let's move to one anime that I think we can probably end this off on tonight.
What's that?
And that Cowboy Bebop.
Oh shit, yeah. I'll honestly say that's one of my more favorite ones, just because.
That's one of those I'll binge at least once a year.
Just for the fucking music alone that they used in that,
dude.
Jazz,
dude. That opening, you know you're gonna have a great time.
Oh, let's do this. 1, 2, 3, let's roll. Oh yeah. Oh man, and just like each episode was unique in that they used the music that they used for it was different. Each episode, and I can watch it, and the I'll say the character designs were good.
Oh, they was so good.
I mean, for like anime characters, they're pretty average.
Yeah,
but like the characters themselves were great.
Oh, they were.
Like Spike, I love the shit out of Spike.
Oh my gosh, Spike was awesome.
I love a woman who can kick my ass. Yes,
straight no bullshit kind of guy. I fucking loved him like that.
He
had his funny, goofy quirks too.
Yeah, I think that was one of my favorite lines. I love a woman who can kick my ass. Like, yeah, I'm kind of with you there, man. And. I will honestly say that I really loved Ein.
Oh, I love
Ein and what was his name? Their name?
Spike.
Well, there was Ein, and they basically acted in tandem.
Yeah, they did.
Them right there, right there.
Yeah, Ein and
You don't have to be a typewriter, dude. You don't have to constantly do that.
Edward.
That's what it is.
Yeah. Why was I having so much trouble coming with Edward?
Edward? Oh god. I did it! Ow! What'd you fucking hit me for?
I had to.
Oh, that fucking hurt. Oh, that was the first thing I thought of, though. Was fucking Full Metal Alchemist.
I'm sorry, I had to.
Ow! Big brother. Hey, don't you hit me again. Oh, that's another one. We'll talk about it later.
Yeah, that's on another cast.
My favorite thing was like the music behind that, and just I think the reason that one was so successful it was so successful was how they told the story.
Yeah.
For it, while it had like I would call filler episodes.
It definitely did.
It had filler episodes, but it for the most part,
rush this thing at all.
No, they didn't rush it at all. God Almighty, that made me. Naruto is like one of the most infamous animes to have fillers.
Naruto and One Piece filler, but yeah.
Dragon Ball Z even
and that.
Oh my God, the yeah,
one whole episode of filler was just
screaming and powering up. That's what it was. But yeah, like the music was one of the biggest things for Cowboy Bebop, and I think was for a lot of people was probably what played into it a lot.
It really
the music just went with the anime so well, and how they coordinated it.
Every scene just would draw you in.
Honestly, yeah, but like okay, so I think one of my favorite ones was with May in the casino.
Oh, the casino scene.
Yeah, whenever I think that was whenever they first when she first started tagging along with them.
Yeah,
it was like it was the first of the couple of episodes with that. That's like kind of the beginning, but like was with May. It was that was her name. Right?
May? Yeah, May Valentine.
May Valentine.
Well,
Faye. Jesus
Sorry.
Christ.
We got pulled up there. We still.
Oh yeah, we got the fucking characters pulled up. It's May, right? Nah, right there, Faye Valentine. It's like
we are retarded.
I am at least. Like with whenever Faye first showed up, and like she is a combination of like protagonist and comedic relief, just because of the shit she gets herself.
And the thing is that she's actually got amnesia. She
doesn't know who she really is.
No, she don't.
She only knows like up to a certain point.
One of my favorite parts in there is where they're going into the depths to find a VHS player, because the VHS has memories of her past life on this tape.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I don't remember this episode.
You don't remember that?
I'm gonna have to go back and watch that.
Crawling through the sewers and everything just to get a VHS player.
Okay, so there are parts where I've missed then. I didn't think that they had her memories, that the amnesia concluded. I thought that was like one of the loose ends that they left off. But
yeah, she was basically a cryo chick in a way.
Yeah, because wasn't she from like our time?
Yeah, she was from our time.
And she was cryo frozen.
Yeah, she was cryo.
And the problem with that is if you're left in it too long, it can cause you to have amnesia.
Exactly.
And she had like a kind of like a semi-permanent version of that.
Exactly.
I mean, I guess any amnesia is kind of semi-permanent unless you get your memories back.
Yeah, whenever she actually watches these tapes, she changes a little bit.
Well, I mean, that would change anybody if you finally figure out who you are, or, who you were before the point you woke up.
Yeah, that kind of sparks her to go on her own quest. This is where you kind of go towards the end of the show, though.
Yeah, this is the sunset of the show, because at the end of it is whenever May leaves.
And then not long after, Edward and
Edward and Ein leave together because they're kind of a duo.
Yeah, they're a duo.
Because Ein is like a super intelligent
dog.
Yeah, and can fucking hack shit where Edward can't.
Exactly.
And then Spike goes off on his fucking journey with or not really his journey. He essentially just goes off into a sunset.
Vincent have their final arc together.
Yeah, he is. Didn't he die?
He did.
Spike ends up dying.
Yeah, Spike dies
because he has his final confrontation with Vincent, and then they ended up killing each other, which we knew that was going to happen anyway.
Yeah, we did.
Just because of like what was explained. Like behind their backs, it was a vendetta thing.
It was.
It's a whole story of vendetta, and then Jet was the only one left on the ship. I mean, to be fair, that was his ship to begin with. It was just him.
Yeah, the Bebop was his.
The Bebop was Jet's ship, and it was a cargo ship, which was what he was doing before he met Spike. And then after that, they Well, after
I'm pretty sure Spike just got with Jet to kind of help Jet while he searches for Vincent, if I'm not mistaken.
Jet. I think you're right. Jet was essentially helping Spike, kind of like a father figure type deal.
Yeah.
Jet was mostly the father figure in the situation, whereas like, Ein and Edward would have been more of the comedic relief because they got in some crazy ass shit.
My God, yeah.
That was doofy as fuck. Especially that one episode. I remember Ein just hopping around and shit. Boink, 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 boink. I was like, "Fuck is going on? Holy shit!" Yeah, you remember that episode?
Yes.
Yeah,
I can still picture it vividly.
just seeing Edward going, just watching it, like you're not gonna. Okay.
Ein turns into this basic like little jumping toy.
Yeah, he just turns into a jumping toy. There was a reason for that, but I don't fucking remember.
I forget the reason now. And the chess master episode where Edward's playing the chess master.
Oh yeah, whenever he gets hacked.
Yeah.
Oh fuck yeah, I remember that. And he tries to shoot a virus into Ed's system through that, and I think Ein was the one that helped him counteract it.
Yeah, Ein's what?
Because Ein was the one who was connected to the probes and shit, and was delving into that shit. With him. Which I mean that the whole duo thing. Oh damn, that took me down memory lane with that.
Dang.
I used to have I actually bought the DVDs for some of the Cowboy Bebop.
Yeah, I've got the entire series.
What the fuck?
Autograph too.
Go fuck yourself. By who?
It was from one of the voice actors.
Was it Steve Bloom? The voice of Spike and of Tom?
Yes, it was actually by Steve Bloom.
Oh my god. Yeah, that lady, I don't know if any of y'all know out there, but the Toonami guy, Tom, was voiced by Steve Bloom, who is the voice of Spike. Which, if you ever watched Toonami, and Cowboy Bebop would come on every once in a while, he would actually make a comment about how the main character sounds handsome. There's a reason for that.
Exactly, because it's him.
Because it's fucking him. And I didn't realize that until much later. Steve Bloom is an amazing voice actor. He's surprisingly prolific. He's in a lot of shit. There's even a lot of side characters that he's played too.
I can't remember all the side. There's a list.
That reminds me. I'm going to look up something real quick. Yeah, I'm being rude. Get over it. I'm looking at shit on my phone. I'm seeing... There is one character that... voice actors. I don't know if it's... I was right. Grayson Hunt in Bulletstorm is voiced by Steve Bloom. I knew his voice sounded familiar. Yeah, I don't know if any of y'all out there have played Bulletstorm. It's a shit-tastic game. It's fantastic in a stupid way. But the main character, Grayson Hunt, is voiced by Steve Bloom, and I love him for that. I love him for that character. Shit.
But wow, I think Cowboy Bebop was a great segue towards the end of this. What you think?
Yeah, I think so. With revolving around 90s anime, or really just any that we really grew up with.
Especially because I believe out of that era, Cowboy Bebop was one of the pinnacles for me.
Well, I wouldn't say that for myself.
One of the pinnacles.
Okay, yeah. For me, Cowboy Bebop wasn't that. I'm gonna be honest. I grew up watching Tenchi Muyo as well as Yu Yu Hakusho. Those were the two biggest ones, but mostly where I started. Other than Rurouni Kenshin was Tenchi Muyo right after that on Toonami, and that probably is what fucked me up for life.
I wouldn't doubt it.
Yeah, that's the Rurouni Kenshin is where I started for me.
Yeah,
and maybe we'll talk. I'll talk about that another episode. There's a lot of reasons behind that, and yeah, that's something I'll talk about in another episode.
Yes.
Should a topic revolving around it come up?
Yeah, stuff like this is gonna happen. It's gonna be you're gonna find out more about each of us and why we like certain animes that we like for certain reasons,
or why we'll murder somebody over something.
Yeah, it's just gonna be like that. We both have our quirks, and I have a feeling more of these quirks are going to show themselves over the time frame of this podcast, for sure.
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
But yeah, I kind of hope you guys have enjoyed this extensive rant that we've done today, because my God, have we done a rant today. We've been going for an hour and 53 minutes.
Yeah, almost 2 hours. But there is a reason for that. We did miss last Sunday.
Yeah, we did.
We're making it a little longer just because we did miss that.
Yeah, it's not guaranteed we're going to have it out, record every weekend. It's kind of hard to do. We have our own lives to live, so.
Right. And I mean, on top of that, there's no guarantee that we'll do extra long episodes if we do miss one. Exactly. This is just kind of an exception, just because we have the time, as well as, you know, we did agree that we could do this.
Yes. So yeah, that's kind of how this is going to continue to work, and we're going to iron things out as we go, kind of getting it sorted-ish.
Yeah, we're still currently hitting all the goddamn bumps in the road.
Oh yeah,
and still getting comfortable with this.
Yeah, we're a sports car driving on unpaved roads.
Oh fuck, that's a good analogy. Yeah, that's actually that hurts my ass just thinking about that.
But yeah, this has been the Traveler's Guide to Media. Again, I am Wayne. This is my co-host,
Jacob. Always here. No, dear God, help us.
And again, I hope you all have enjoyed this. If you have, please leave a comment down below. This is going up on a few different platforms. But thank you very much for listening. And we will see you on we won't see you. We'll talk to you on the next one.
Over. Take care.
Yep.
Bye-bye.
Sayonara.